Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Here we go, OverDrive, off and running, TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill. Noodles is in Edmonton, so we'll see if we can get him maybe later on. He's having some technical issues out of the gate, but that's fine.
Yeah, I know he gets that crummy hotel room out there, and who knows what goes on.
Yeah, he's got the whole kind of hostage setup.
He does.
Everywhere. Whenever he's in Edmonton, it's particularly terrible, the background.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's not like
no
me.
art.
If I try fiddling around with a road show and I don't get JP or there's something wrong, I'm like, I've had to do it in Collingwood a bunch of times. I'm like, JP, done. Not doing it. It's no good for anybody, right?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes, stuff pops up. We'll see if we can get Noodles. I don't know. If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's nothing
we need him back, though. We need something to kind of build on because Canadian hockey fans?
Not in a good place right now.
Dude, Brucey Boudreau, bring back Brucey's positivity when he said 5 teams in Canada were going to make the playoffs. How ludicrous does that sound to you right now?
Obviously, nowhere close to accurate. Now, to be fair to Bruce on a couple of different levels, one, he did rescind that like 3 weeks after the statement. That statement was like 2 or 3 months ago, and Brucey came on, I would say, early in the new year and said, that's enough. I rescind that. It's not 5 teams. He, I believe, said it would be somewhere closer to 3. 3 is not going to happen. Now, Ottawa is on a bit of a heater right now. Ottawa is playing well. They looked very good the other night. They're going through Western Canada. That's why Noodles is out there. They're playing Edmonton tomorrow. Edmonton is in shambles right now.
Marty Biron, congratulations, because you called the trade for the goalies. You rated it. Do you know what?
An F.
An F.
Yes. Like it's the same story every single loss. They lose 6-5. McDavid has 3 points. Draisaitl is flying around like a Hart candidate, and they just can't keep the puck out of their net. We do the mood meter, like the coaching mood meter, I'd say once a month on the show. We haven't done it in
I don't
a while.
even know what it would look like right now.
Like Marty St. Louis is in a completely different category, and they have some goaltending issues too. There's a lot of concerns in Montreal. Like, what are they going to do with that goaltending? Is Montembeault capable of taking them on a run? Dobish had a great start. That's no longer the case. They called up Fowler at one point. Like, they're still trying to figure out what their goaltending is going to be because they believe they're going to the playoffs. I believe they're going to the playoffs. But can you go on a run with shaky goaltending? It doesn't seem possible, especially in the East. Edmonton, I think, will still get in, but it's going to be more of a sweat. Outside of that, there's every other Canadian team is in shambles. Shambles. And again, Ottawa, they're playing much better recently. The reason they're in this position is because their goaltending was so horrendous through 50 games. Like, they couldn't get a save. It was awful goaltending, and then obviously Allmark, who wasn't playing well. Then
it was the worst goaltending in the league.
Borderline the worst in the league. One of the 2 or 3 worst in the league. As a result, they're in the position they're in, and I don't think they have enough time to catch back up.
No.
But Vancouver,
worst
shambles.
Team in the league.
Calgary,
3rd worst team in the league.
Winnipeg,
4th worst team in the league.
The Leafs,
probably the 5th worst team in the league.
Yes, exactly. Like, that's where it is right now. It is, and there's just bad vibes with
bad vibes.
What happens in the future and
Canadian
all this kind of stuff.
For the ranting and raving about the gold medal and shaking hands with the president and say you hate the hockey players for doing that, like, it would not shock me if at the end of this season, Brady Tkachuk and Austin Matthews said, that's probably enough for me. I'm not kidding you. Like, it would not shock me if both of them said, thanks, but no thanks. Maybe it's time to move on. And by the way, their durations for their teams, that's an eternity in sports. It's not like they've been there a couple years. They've been there a long time, man. Austin Matthews has been here 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
What's Brady Tkachuk, 7 or 8 years in Ottawa?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if both of them said, check, please. Have these lunatics running around making comments, wondering if they want to cheer me when I get acknowledged by the Jumbotron. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, Doogie was in the building on Saturday, and he said there were a lot of boos for Matthews.
For what? For what?
Well, see, my initial reaction, again, I was watching it, and it looked like there were a lot of cheers. And he did say there were a lot of cheers, too. But, and I said this on Friday, I thought when they initially announced him, like captain of the U.S. team, there'd be boos because the Americans beat Canada. What has been lost in all this, because it has gone off the rails and the White House has come involved and Trump and all that, there are a lot of Canadians that are just going to boo the U.S. because it's a rivalry and they lost the game. Like, a lot of it is just people in their feelings because the States beat Canada. And especially when you consider where we are right now, the relations between our country and their country, it's never been anything close. It's never been anything like this. There's so much vitriol. There's so much it's just muddy waters, man. There's a lot of people that are upset for a lot of different reasons.
But what is it when you walk into the hockey rink and you're captain of a team? Well,
it's not, like I said last week, it's not his responsibility to consider the emotions of Canadians. He's an American citizen. He played for the U.S. He won, and he celebrated. He's more than entitled to do that. Now, I would say the idea of completely throwing off the direction of your career because of a 4 or 5 days of crazy emotion, that to me is also equally as crazy and ridiculous for both of them. Like, because cooler heads prevail, they will prevail. There's a lot of people are pissed off in Leafland for a lot of different reasons.
Oh, okay, and you could be pissed off at Austin Matthews, Brian, being a part of a team that he didn't get it done.
Yes.
They couldn't get through but maybe all of that, and then on top of it, maybe he's just like, maybe it's time for a change of scenery.
He might.
I know I went through that. I was like, I've been around here a long time, and you know me, I can kind of wear on people. They wear on me. And I was like, maybe it's time for a change.
Yeah, you don't say. I find that impossible to believe that would be true.
We've been talking for 3 hours every day for 10 years. Am I wearing on you?
No, we're still all good. I think we're still moving along in a pretty good direction. It's always possible that something could change. It's not like I'm the rosiest guy in the world to deal with every day.
You're not.
And I understand that. But my thing is, I can't speak to Tkachuk in that market. You know, it's a little bit different, and they haven't had nearly as much success. You know, they made the playoffs last year. It doesn't feel like they're going to make it this year. They're going to possibly make a run. They've been playing better recently, but I don't think they're going to make it. So, you know, Brady and his story, a little bit different market, different history. But with Matthews, you know, if this is his argument that, hey, around the Olympic celebration, I took too much heat, or there were a couple of stupid articles written or whatever.
Well, he's got people on podcasts going, I hate him. I can't believe he shook the press. Like,
it's asinine behavior.
It is.
And listen, if everyone's entitled to their viewpoint, but I would like to believe Austin Matthews is not concerned with that either. Like, he's got more on his plate than worrying what people are writing or saying on a podcast.
You would think so.
You would think so. And I'd like to believe that's the case. Again, he's been here for 10 years. The idea that he's just going to uproot everything because of a week of emotion, I find that hard to believe. I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, if his argument is, because this is going south quickly, if he came out at the end of the year and Matthews said, I want to win, I'm obsessed with winning, a Stanley Cup's the only thing that matters, and I don't think I can do it here, it'd be tough to argue against that. Like,
I'd be more concerned if he was just like, well, I hope we're good next year, but if it doesn't happen, I'm still a Maple Leaf and whatever. What kind of...
Well, but at no point in his career, doesn't mean he's not doing it privately. Again, I don't know him privately. I don't know what he's saying behind closed doors. I have never picked up on this burning intensity to win from him publicly. It's never been the McDavid, McKinnon.
No. Because he's never said anything like that.
He's never looked enraged. Like, on Saturday, he came out and said that effort was embarrassing. That's about as harsh as he's ever been publicly, you know, in terms of the analysis of his own game, the team's game, and where they're at. So I don't deny he burns to win. I'm sure he does, but I've never been in the impression it's like this obsession. Like with McDavid, I get the impression it's an obsession. If you told him, hey, you can go to this team and win a cup, and then you retire and you never play the game again, he'd probably say, I'll take it. Like, I'm in. I need to win. I have to win. I don't get that impression from Matthews. I never have. Again, doesn't mean it's not there, but publicly it hasn't been there. But if that's the argument, I can reason with it. The Leafs haven't won a cup in 60 years. They're a disaster right now. They've won 2 rounds since he's been here. Now, he's got to factor into that. But I can reason with that argument. I have to win, and I don't think it can be here. But if his argument is, one bad year, I'm out, that's weak to me. Because I don't look at it like the way you phrase it, like, oh, whatever, gee golly, let's just keep playing. This guy has had 9 years of support. He walked in and stepped right into the playoffs with really good players around him, a really insulated organization from Shanahan down to Lou, Dubas, Babcock. He has been in the playoffs every single year. He has had a pass to April 15th. You're playing game 1 every year of his career. And then 1 year it goes south, and it's been awful. And you pull the chute. Again, this is all hypothetical. We're speaking if that were to be the case. I think that would be incredibly weak. I don't think that's a good sign of you being uber competitive or whatever. If your loyalty flips because of one bad season, the first really bad season you've had of your whole career, I would take issue with that. And I think Leaf fans would deserve to take issue with that.
What if it's a combination of a bunch of different things, Brian, and he actually, because when I talk to hockey people around the league, which is often, almost a daily basis, and they say, you know what they say? Man, that Leafs team's a bad team.
They're an awful team right now.
That's right. Yeah, they're like
awful.
The way they played against Ottawa the other night,
that was horrendous.
That's as bad as it gets.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Like they got absolutely schooled. Like they have played 3 divisional rivals and have
got
been
their asses handed to them.
Demolished 3 straight games.
Yeah, and now it looks like it's set in, and they don't really. It's like
they're done now. The walls are packed. They're on Expedia.ca. Like they're booking trips.
Like it could get miserable. I'm not going to compare it, but you remember. I just remember, like, so clearly, Tyler Bozak and JVR, who I love a lot, and I like them all. They're all great guys. And Phil, their effort level when that 18-wheeler went off the cliff. They were not. I remember coming on here saying they're not even trying. Like I just hope I can't watch that, man.
Well, it's 22 more games. 22 more games. And it is going to be painful, man. It's going to be painful. But again, this speaks to how rare the last 9 years have been, that the previous 9 years, it was ramp up time. It's we're going to beat up on teams.
Who are we getting at the deadline?
Who are you getting at the deadline? Who are you getting in the first round? Can they win rounds? Can they go on a cup run? So it's very unique. It's very different. And Matthews and Nylander, they've never dealt with this. Riley was here prior to it, but he was so young, he wasn't playing a prominent role. It's an interesting question. Like I was asked about this over the weekend. What they do in the future, because everyone's trying to project what the Leafs are going to do. Is Treliving coming back? Is Barube coming back? Is the core going to be back? And I don't know what the core of this team is. Like I know Matthews and Nylander are a part of that, and I would suggest Nyes is, although he's had a really tough year. But they don't have a defenseman that's a core item. Like I know Riley's been here his whole career. He's not a core piece for the future. Right? Like he's not a core, you're building block kind of guy that you're going to project 3 to 5 years of growth.
Are you talking about like a 1A D-man? Not even close.
I'm just saying, like you look at the halves. Like I know it's like Suzuki, it's Caulfield, it's Demidov,
Caden Gooley.
It's Gooley, it's Hudson, it's Dobson. And, you can pick your goalie. They may not have one they feel great about, but they might say Fowler's going to be that. Like this Fowler kid in the next 3 to 5 years will be the guy. You go to Ottawa, it's like, I know it's Stützle, it's Pinto, it's Tkachuk, Batherson, it's Sanderson, Shabbat, and probably Zub. And it's Ullmark. I can't get 7 or 8 guys on this team where I say that's a core that you're moving forward with.
Dude, 7 or 8?
Not even close.
You get to William Nylander and Austin Matthews and tell me what's after that.
Yeah.
John Tavares is 35 years old.
Exactly. Like with all due respect to John, it's not he's a depth piece now.
Well,
like,
that's what I couldn't figure out, and I was having this argument, and I love John Tavares. He's going to be a Hall of Fame player. But at 35 years old, Maple Leaf fans were like, they better get Johnny for 4 years at $9 million. And I'm like, first of all, 4 years? Like, why did you have to sign him for 4 years? I don't care what his price tag is. You didn't win with him, and that's all I think about when all this stuff goes down, is like the idea of winning. Like, you didn't win with him in his prime. So what? You got to have him at a discount for 4 more years just to say he's here? I've never understood that.
Well, and furthermore,
And people at the beginning of the year, they're like, Tavares is their best player. Like, have you guys, like, do you watch the games? Do you watch him on a nightly basis? There's a lot of times where he's struggling to get around and make plays.
a lot of them are. That's the thing. They all are at this
Dude, they're
point.
playing so bad right now.
They all
and people
are.
were giving it to me after the last game I did on the panel. I said, I can't find two guys that were playing tonight that deserve a regular shift. Because Duthie was asking me, who would you like load up a line? I'm like, load up a line?
That's the problem.
I can't find two guys that deserve to be like, hey, I'm going to keep throwing you out there tonight. You're really humming right now. No one is doing that. They're playing awful. They are awful right now.
They are in a bad place.
Dude, as bad as it gets. As bad as any team you look around. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's a lost season. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
And dude, if you look, it doesn't seem like that long ago. The last preseason game, me, yourself, Jamie, and MJ were talking about how bad they looked in that last preseason game. We were like, they look slow. They can't get the pucks. They can't get it out. They are so bad. And for all you pencil necks out there, the metrics back it up. Defensively, they're horrendous.
They are as bad as it gets, and they have been all year. And then, like, a lot of that is, I do think, personnel, they're struggling. Like, they're guys, they're...
Got to put some of it on coaching, too. My old man always told me, motivation and defensive systems has got to be on the coach.
I 100% agree. And this is where it's difficult. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what they're going to do with the front office, with the coaching staff, with the players. But I do think there is a possible avenue where they're going to sell it to themselves that it was just a down year, things didn't go right, give us an opportunity to right the ship. I have used the Blue Jay comparison in the past, and I know people don't want to hear it, but this time 2 years ago, it was all the same conversation. Get rid of Shapiro, get rid of Atkins, get rid of Schneider. These guys stink, and they didn't do that, and they turned things around.
I'm telling you right now, that roster, no chance in hell deserves another kick at the can. It will not get you out of the ditch. There's no way not in that league.
No.
None.
They have
Zero,
to. They have to turn over a
so many
really
players. I'm not talking about small change. So many players need to stop going out on the ice.
A significant portion of their roster has to
Yes.
turn over. But it, in order to say if it's all the players' fault, which it's not, then what you're going to do is exonerate the coach and the GM. If you're sitting there and saying, it's not the coach's fault, well, then the GM's got to fall on the sword. If the GM's going to sit there and say, well, I gave you the players, then it's the coach's fault. Like, someone's got to be at fault here. And the idea of, again, them all coming back or everything just coming back and just shifting a couple things or trying to retool to get it right next year seems very difficult to picture working out, and a very difficult sales pitch for a fan base that is just has been just beaten down, man. Like, even there was so much promise 9 years ago, and there was always, a party that thought, okay, they can break through. And at Game 7 against Florida, it was a death blow. It was just a death blow. And here we are 8 months later or whatever it is, and they don't have their first-round pick, and Easton Cowan looks like I don't know what's going on with him or what's going to happen with him in the future. What are they going to do with their coach, their GM? What's going to happen with the captain? It's happened quickly, but they're in one now.
And that's all that's left. It's like so bad right now. They understand that they're done, and all that's left is question marks, as opposed to a plan of attack that nobody knows about how they're going to attack this. Because I guess there's people that don't know what they're going to be able to do as far as the plan of attack moving forward. So all there's left is question marks, and a lot of them. Yeah. I guess, like, by the end of the show, Hayes, like, you can work on the fly. I want the top 5 question marks moving forward for the Maple Leafs. If you can give me that by the end of the show. And if you're a fan, you're listening, chime in and let us know.
I can give you those. I can give you a 1 to 5. Okay, we'll get to that. Pierre LeBrun coming up. Sounds and looks like the Oilers are possibly going to acquire Conor Murphy.
Yeah, does he
Chicago.
Wear goalie pads too?
No, but there's a veteran defenseman that also might take Ekman Larson out of the fold on that front, because it appeared as if Edmonton was kicking tires on Ekman Larson. Maybe they still are, but this is one of the main questions: is who are you going to trade? And if you believe you can retool, who are you going to give up? Are you okay with getting less value than what maybe you paid for Scott Laughton a year ago, Brandon Carlo a year ago?
Dude, there's another
Does
guy
ego
out there.
come into play?
There's another guy out there, Stan Bowman. Like, he had to get Mangiapane. He cleared waivers, dude.
Yeah, waivers. That one.
Trent Frederick
swing and a miss.
Needed
Trent
to get
Frederick.
him and sign him to an 8-year deal.
Mess.
He can't play right now.
Yeah. Goaltending, it's ugly.
We talk about watered down league. Like, that's the kind of things that are going to go on. You're like, I got to get that guy. And when they can't clear waivers, I think that's the ultimate kick in the junk. It's like, what was I seeing if no one in the league even made a claim on that cat?
Yeah, it's tough sledding for a lot of teams, man. A lot of teams. Like Florida, I think, is done. They had a tough weekend. They're done.
Dude, the
Sabres are red hot.
Dude,
like they are
we
crushing.
Get Marty Baron on pretty soon because
we will.
They are hot.
Because a lot of the teams you came into the season thinking had a chance. Florida, clearly, they're going to miss. The Leafs, I think most thought they'd make the playoffs. They're not even going to be close.
No.
Vegas is awful right now.
Dude, they can't get a save either.
They don't beat good teams.
No, they stink.
They do not beat good teams.
They got crushed by the Penguinos.
Crushed. Hill's a mess.
In pit.
Edmonton's in shambles. Colorado's having a little bit of a stumble here. They're going to be fine, but they're stumbling. Like they're coming back to earth a little bit.
But the question is, who is looking at the goings-on of the league and saying, man, if we just get it together come playoff time, this could be our year?
Well,
like, is it Colorado?
Yeah.
And Colorado alone? Colorado and Tampa?
Minnesota.
Carolina?
Dallas, Minnesota, I think for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think there's, probably in Montreal, they're like, hey, why can't we get on a heater? We get good goaltending. We can go on a run.
No kidding. Like, if I'm Billy Guerin, I'm having a meeting saying, guys, like this, don't just think that we're a quality team and let's make some noise. This could be our year.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot of that, I think, at the deadline. All right, Pierre LeBrun coming up, our TSN Hockey Insider. Our buddy Pete DeBoer will join us just after 5. We got a list that we're going to get to on the fly. We got your boy Shane Lowry, who is probably still in a bunker somewhere down in Southeast Florida.
Dude,
we'll talk about it.
Like the ultimate underpants cam. If he had white boxers on yesterday, on 17T when he flared that one out, after he flared it on 15, or no, 16.
16.
Like, I'm talking, this guy's a tour-tested veteran,
yes.
Ryder Cup champion, major winner, and he crapped his pants at the Bear Trap.
Yeah, the Bear Trap claimed Shane Lowry. Like, it was excruciating to watch.
Yeah, I think he was even shocked. He, put his hand on his forehead, and he looked at his caddy, and I don't know what the language was exchanged with his caddy. Probably can you believe I did that?
I thought it looked like he was almost yelling at his caddy.
Yeah.
Which is, that's one where if you're the caddy, you're like, dude, you just sprayed one. Like, you looked like a 24 handicap on that shot.
Dude, that shot he hit on 17 almost went in the guy's backyard on the right of the water.
Yes. He almost flared it into another guy's living room. Tied for the lead. Crazy.
Dude, I shouldn't say too much. I choked my guts out on that hole. I played a back tee with a wind right in, and I hit a butter 3-iron to 2 feet, and I missed it. A guy made me putt it, and I choked my guts out.
The hole doesn't look that tough. Like, they were hitting 8-irons in.
Yeah. This was I think there's 2 different tee options.
You had to be at a different deck if you're hitting a 3-iron.
It was 214 yards.
Yeah, they were not playing that yesterday.
No.
They were playing it was 175 downwind. Yeah. Like, some guys were hitting 9-irons into that. It was just
Lowry. It was incredible to watch.
Insane.
And the problem with him is he's got to be thinking, not what he did, but it's like, am I at an age now where the heebie
never going to win? Well, that's what it was. He lost that tournament when he put the peg in the ground on 16.
I know.
He put it in the ground and thought to himself, I have to win now.
As soon as the ball went on top of the tee,
it was over. The tournament was over. Yeah.
Like a little squirt, and he mentally
the tournament was over.
Over, dude.
Yeah, because he blocked that thing so far right on 16. Trying to hit a little draw.
Dude, I think he was trying to grab a little more land from his playing partner, and his playing partner said, dude, you get nothing.
Yeah, he didn't.
You shanked that right from the get-go.
He's lucky he got any coverage.
I would have made him re-tee it.
Yeah.
Because I would have said, you're started over this water and kept over the water.
I'm not convinced he got over any land. It was crazy to watch. We got the Arnie Palmer this weekend. Like, this shot, I don't know if that clears water. or clears land.
Dude, look where this thing goes. That's in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it does. All right, so we got Pierre coming up. Pete DeBoer coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you. Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. There he is, Noodles, joining us now. Where are you? Where are you right now?
You're in a basement somewhere.
Yeah.
You're in Strutty's basement.
You're in Strutty's basement.
I'm in a hotel room, and I have been waiting patiently for 50 minutes to be hooked up. So, anyways, it is what it is.
We're up and running.
Positive vibes, boys. And
Yes.
you know what? It's Monday. I listened to the whole segment, and not much. I mean, let's spin it some way. Is there anything that your list, maybe, Hayes?
Oh, yeah, I'll come up with a list. I got a list for you. It'll be very positive. A very
What is our list
positive
again? Top 5 question marks moving forward.
No,
Release.
top 5 prospects, wasn't it? Or
No,
what?
not prospects. Dude, I can get 2 or 3 deep, and then there's this
Yeah,
team is
that's not even a list.
The Leafs,
Okay,
I don't know
fair
if they
enough.
have 5 that the general public wants to hear about. That's part
Fair
of the
enough.
problem right
We
now.
got to spice it up. I got to tell you guys, when I was getting dressed and before I came up here, we got to have a positive convo like I had with Kevin Kilbane and Stevie Caldwell before the show.
Those guys are rock stars,
Dude,
though.
I'm telling you, you could raffle off, like, go to some kind of soccer event and then out for drinks with Stevie and Kevin. I would pay $15,000 for it if I
Unreal.
still drank.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I looked at Stevie Caldwell and I said, Stevie, can I ask you something? We have a good relationship. We're buddies.
Okay.
I said, when's the last time you've been piss your pants drunk? And he looked at me with a straight face and he said, Saturday night.
What did he say?
Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I said, man.
But it's a different experience, I would think.
Dude, and then Kevin Kilbane went through his routine when he was living in Europe, working in Ireland.
Yeah, he's Irish.
Ireland for 4 days doing soccer broadcast, and then he told me his bar routine after. And then after that, the other 3 days of the week he spent in Manchester, England. And he said it was the greatest stretch of his life, what he was up to.
I can imagine. Superstars, man. It's World Cup season. Like we're humming here at TSN with those guys.
Dude, you should have seen that Caldwell's face when he said Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a great time.
It's Monday. Like I would be still laying in bed if I was that banged up.
Well,
He's a legend.
he's a legend for a reason.
He's a beauty.
All right, here's our TSN hockey insider, Pierre LeBrun, joining us. Pierre, it's good to see you as always. It appears as if the Edmonton Oilers have made a trade. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's still not been official yet, but Conor Murphy at Edmonton should be processed here in the next hour. And
Why are we laughing? What's going on?
Your mic
swallowed
is,
your mic.
is like
Yeah.
in your hoodie, I
you
think.
sound like the guy in the movie Saw.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know.
Everything okay? There we go. We got you.
Whatever it is, I just made Noodles' day.
Yeah.
love it.
Okay.
I love it.
So sorry, we're all over the place here because Noodles wasn't on at the start. Now we're talking about Stevie and Kevin. And anyway, Conor Murphy going to Edmonton for a second-round pick. Is that what we're believed is happening here?
Yeah, not official yet. They still haven't had the trade call, so that should get processed in the next hour, is what I was trying to say before Noodles started giggling at me. But yeah,
Sorry, buddy.
that's where it said, no, I deserve it. I thought you guys would respect the Expos hat today. They haven't lost a game
Love
in 20
it.
years.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Yeah.
Get them back. Get the Expos
I was
back home.
I was in Montreal a weekend. One of my daughter's hockey teams was in a tournament. The Etobicoke Dolphins, champions in Montreal. And I was surrounded by Leaf fans, hockey parents. And I got to tell you, the anecdotal I know, but it reflects what you guys were saying in the first hour. But the mood among Leaf fans right now, my goodness. It was hard to put those folks in a good place. That's for sure.
Well, listen, for 9 years, they took run after run after run, and they never got it done. And now this year, it's just a disaster. It's the end of whatever promising era they might have had. And, you know, I guess we'll ask what every Leaf fan wants to know. What is realistic in terms of change? And I'm not only just talking about the deadline, Pierre. Is Treliving coming back?
Yeah.
Is Barube going to survive this? Like, how does this work for the Leafs, in your opinion, between now and opening night next year?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. There's a lot of bigger questions than just, you know, how do you improve this roster? And right now, I don't think anyone can answer for sure whether the GM or the coach are back next year. You know, and where does Keith Pelly stand in all of this? I mean, you know, he's got to answer for a lot as well. You know, after parting ways with Brendan Shanahan a year ago. So there are certainly some bigger questions to answer at the end of the season. In the here and now, I know from talking to other teams around the league, I mean, the Leafs certainly, and this wasn't a response to Saturday night's debacle, but for a while now, the Leafs have let every team in the league know that, you know, they're obviously sellers and open to be listening on a lot of their guys, and that's what's happening right now. I also think if the Leafs can thread the needle, they'd like to look at, you know, checking off a couple of to-do list items from June. If they can fast forward their off season and do something this week that is you know, a way to improve the roster for next season, they'll look at that too. But that's hard to do in the middle of the year. But I'm just saying, if you see a trade where it looks like, what are they doing? They're out of it. Why are they doing this? It's not about now. It would be for trying to have this bounce back off season where they assemble Austin Matthews with a better roster for next year.
So, Pierre, is it as simple as saying, okay, you know, Bobby McMahon and Scott Lawton potentially in play because they're the most, the unrestricted free agents? Or, you know, from what you're hearing, is it a lot more on the table and we're listening on pretty much everybody except for maybe 34 and 88 type of thing?
Yeah, Noodles, it's more than just those two. I mean, I think they would move OEL if there was a good offer on the table, which I don't think there is right now. You know, they're listening more than just their pending UFAs. I mean, this is about, you know, turning parts of this roster over to be in a better position this offseason for sure. But certainly, I know you guys have addressed this. They can't be in a position where they're completely nuking the entire roster and rebuilding. You can't do that while Austin Matthews is still in the roster, right? I mean, this is about trying to do like Boston a year ago and being in a better spot come next September. But until, you know, while 34 is still part of things here, you know, this is about, you know, trying to turn things over, but not certainly nuking the entire roster.
So, Pierre, I know you said there's some interest in some guys that are pretty positive stories for the Maple Leafs, whether it be Lawton, McMahon, OEL, but I'm sure the fan base and a lot of Keeners are wondering, like, how are you going to remove some players that are a part of not getting it done and underperformed? Like, don't they have to focus on trimming some of that fat as well? Like, there's some guys that just flat out haven't fit and are not getting it done. So what are they going to do about those guys? Or is that one of those situations
Yeah, no
where
question.
it's like, that crap happens and you're stuck with it?
Yeah, no, listen, you're bang on. I mean, listen, are you referring to Morgan Riley, for example? Is that where you're going here? You know, it's been a tough go. He's got a full no trade. Has never shown any appetite to want to go anywhere. Either way, to me, that feels like an off-season discussion again with Morgan Riley, not something between now and Friday. And I think what's important to figure out in my mind is, in terms of the heavy lifting, is who is running this team next year. Going back to Hayes' original question, because I think that'll tell you a lot about where this is headed. But yeah, I think in the here and now, given that we're only 4 days to the deadline, I think it's more about the obvious names that they're listening on.
With Pierre LeBrun, our TSN Hockey Insider, the Oilers, you know, if they're going to acquire Murphy here, do you see them doing more than that? Do you see them, you know, where else are they going to go? Because they're obviously in a bit of a weird position right now.
Do they dare attack the goaltender position again?
No.
No?
How would they do that?
Yeah, I just don't know how you can do that twice in the season. I don't know. I don't see it. You know, I think they would like to add another top 9 forward, which has been the plan for a long time. And then it became necessary to add a defenseman as well, which they're going to do with Murphy here. But,
Yeah.
you know, I think adding a piece up front, that team is very interesting to me right now. Let's just put it that way, because let's not forget that even though Connor McDavid signed a 2-year extension in September, and that seemed to quiet the waters, he did so in a way that gave you the impression, and from talking to people, he kind of put the Oilers on notice. Like, we need to keep knocking at the door here. So just because he signed a 2-year extension doesn't mean that he has to play that extension out in Edmonton if you want to read through the line. So there's a lot of pressure there in Edmonton right now to get this roster in the best possible position it can be in to go for another deep run here.
Yeah. I mean, as of now, they play Anaheim in the first round. I like their chances, right? Like Anaheim making the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and Vegas is not in a good place. Like, Vegas can be caught still. Like, Vegas is a disaster right now, the way they're playing. So that's the weird thing. Like, because of the position because of the division they play in, they can't be happy with anything in terms of the way they're playing. Yet they're still, in a position where I can see them in a conference final. They can still get there because you play Anaheim, Vegas, or some combination of that. You're going to like your chances, I think, the way things are currently built.
Well, the key thing for any team in the Pacific to want to go deep is to avoid falling into a wild card and swap going over to Central.
Yes,
that's the key thing, because the Pacific has been quite mediocre this year, and you're bang on. I mean, listen, I think Vegas will steady itself as well. Now, Vegas at least has made its biggest move for sure in Rasmus Andersson already. They just need to get healthy here, but I don't think they're done either. Kelly McCrimmon and the Golden Knights, but certainly. I think Edmonton's as intriguing as almost any team in the league right now as far as what they look like by the end of the deadline Friday, because, again, of the internal pressure there to be that team again that has a shot to win the cup. That's the kind of pressure not every team in the league has.
Pierre, we were talking about some teams that have to be looking around and saying this could be our year. We're not just a quality team, but we have to look around at the landscape, and there is not like a march through Death Valley in the playoffs to get this thing done. Like, it could be a team like Minnesota. If you're looking at two teams, Minnesota or Carolina, who would you predict would load up and say, we are really going for it this year, or would it be both?
I would say, I think Carolina always looks at it that when they have a shot. That's just their MO in Carolina. And I like their pathway, because the Metro is pretty mediocre in general. No offense to the Penguins, who continue to surprise, and the Islanders have been a great story. But in general, I think Carolina has such a direct path, at least to the conference finals. I think the problem for the Wild, who have been unbelievably impressive, Bill Guerin, obviously the blockbuster for Quinn Hughes, he's got another move up his sleeve. He's going to go get a top six forward, whether it's a center or a winger, between now and Friday, whether that's Vincent Trocheck or someone else. I love the way the Wild have played. I have them right there with almost any team as far as Stanley Cup chances. The problem is they may get Dallas right off the hop in the first round. Last year's Dallas-Colorado is this year's Minnesota-Dallas right now, if you look at the format. And it's first of all, the playoff format is awful, needs to change. Don't get me going. You guys know how many times I've talked about that. But that's the problem for the Wild is, to me, you're already in, you might as well double down. And don't forget, it's not just about the fact that the Wild believe they have a chance to win the cup. You're also trying to prove to Quinn Hughes, who you would like to extend when you can, that this is the team that's going to go for it now every year. So there's another layer to it all. So I think the Wild, I'd be absolutely shocked if the Wild don't do something significant here between now and Friday.
I think they should. I think they're an excellent team. And Pierre, you mentioned some of the trades and stuff. Vegas will be active. I saw that Mark Stone is, going on LTIR, but now there's different rules.
Mm-hmm.
Their teams have to be mindful of these, the cap compliant in the playoffs, correct? A lot different than in past years.
Yeah. I wrote about this today in The Athletic, guys, and it's a great point, Noodles. It was interesting hearing from teams and from agents in the last 24 to 48 hours, and that's why I wrote about it. First of all, it's the first time in a long time the weekend before the trade deadline didn't produce a major move or any move. Very quiet, right? And what a lot of people have been telling me, listen, it's going to be busy. It's just that what teams and agents are dealing with this year is one, what you just talked about. The playoff loophole is gone. You can't use a player's entire salary if he's going to come back to you in the playoffs. There's a playoff cap now, so the LTIR loophole is gone. On top of that, they got rid of double retention. They got rid of the third-party broker, which kind of went, didn't get as much attention as I thought it should last June when the CBA details were being released. But this is the time of year where you'd see 3 teams partake in a trade so that the player's salary essentially got cut twice. 75% of his salary got cut. There is no more double retention of salaries in the CBA. And believe me, there are people complaining to me here this week that they're feeling it right now as they're trying to thread the needle. So a couple of reasons why, even though it will still be busy before Friday, we've already seen this weekend it's not been as busy as what we're used to, and those are some of the reasons why.
With Pierre LeBrun, our TSN hockey insider, Vancouver, we keep hearing about them and this Pettersson situation.
Would you trade for him?
I mean, no, I wouldn't touch him.
I think I would take a chance, as stupid as that sounds.
What team, though? Oh, what team?
Jamie, I don't even care what team, but I would be so enticed to try to bring out that talent I saw a couple of years ago.
I agree. I agree 100%. Oh, I'm just saying, there should be some teams that should be circling around this kid.
Yeah, would Carolina ever pull the trigger on that and swing for the fences and hope the guy turned into a stud again? I don't know. I don't know who would take a chance.
Right.
But it would just be so enticing. But man, would you hate yourself if he was just the same guy?
Well, it's a make or break play for your whole career as a GM, basically. Honestly, if you acquire him and he's the same or worse, you're fired. Good, nice pickup. Thanks for coming out. Go ahead, Pierre.
Yeah, well, it's a contract that scares the heck out of you if he isn't the player of old. I mean, that's a massive financial commitment, and no question the Canucks would move him. Carolina is a team that at different times over the last year and a half has had conversations with the Canucks about him. The one scenario that I've always wondered about is whether if Kotkaniemi was part of a trade, is that a way in which the Hurricanes could justify it and say, well, there's our way of balancing the books a bit in terms of the financial obligation if Kotkaniemi was going the other way. But I don't know. I think it's a tough sell. I hate to say this about a player because honestly, I hope he makes me eat my words, but he looks like a guy, and this has happened to a lot of other players, that once he got that deal, his belly got full, and that's a red flag for some people. And boy, I hope he proves me wrong, but I've heard that from a couple teams when I brought up his name.
Yeah, it's an incredible story how it's just completely fallen off for him. It's
unrecognizable.
Yeah, getting benched and, the way he speaks with the media, he's always been a little bit uncomfortable, but now, you can tell, it's just a very strange existence in Vancouver.
Decided, early before training camp he was going to take training seriously. It's what?
Yeah. No, it's not good in Vancouver. It's certainly not good with Pettersson. Anyway, all right, Pierre, we got a busy week, buddy. I think we'll be seeing you later in the week. We look forward to it, but we're bracing for impact this week. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, hopefully more to talk about on Thursday, and I'll try to resolve my bike situation by then. No. I'll make you a promise on that.
Attaboy. Appreciate it. Thanks, Pierre. There he is, Pierre LeBrun, our TSN hockey insider.
I was very curious,
right?
guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
I was very curious, Hayes.
Muffled.
When you said, you sound like the guy from Saw. JP, and I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen Saw.
You've never seen that movie?
JP, can you give me an example of what this guy sounds like?
You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. Here's what happens if you lose.
I knew right away.
Jigsaw, I think, was the guy's name.
Yeah, Jigsaw.
That's what JP said to me. He goes, we have the Jigsaw audio, and I'm like, no, it's this. I was going to say, no, it's just Saw movie.
No,
but the guy's
Jigsaw.
name is Jigsaw.
One of the craziest endings in cinematic history, the original. They're still making them, I think.
I know, yeah.
They're still making Screams. There's a Scream 7, I think, that's out right now.
I was at it on Friday night.
No way.
With
Dude,
my 13-year-old daughter.
Saw, Scream, no way am I walking into that.
The original Saw is a brilliant movie.
Unreal.
Incredible movie.
I want to play a game.
So that's Oren Koulis, who's a huge hockey fan and stuff. I believe he was an investor in Tampa Bay years ago with Lenny Barry.
Yeah, you're right. He was a part owner down there.
Yeah, he was like, that's Saw money, man. Like,
wow.
It's great, and I think they're on like Saw 8 or whatever.
They're still going, man.
Yeah,
dude, that's crazy. There's 8 Saws, and I haven't seen
maybe
1
7.
second.
There's a lot of them, and the first one they honestly probably spent $150,000 on the movie.
What was it like? How could a movie? Is it a guy that cuts people up with a saw?
Yeah, it's.
How could you watch that? I don't get it. Like,
it is so morbid, but it is so well done. The first one.
It's brilliant. The first one. Like, when he stands up at the end, I'll spoil it for you. It is one of the craziest moments in cinematic history. It's
really is.
It's up there with Kaiser Soze at the end of Usual Suspects, and it's just one of the craziest endings you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great movie. You always say that you watch
true crime.
True crime. That's
it.
real life. How is that not more of a difficult process than watching fantasy?
I can't watch fake movies where I'm just like, that's ridiculous.
This one though, you'd appreciate. I just ruined it for you, so now it's
no, dude. You could say you could gain so much, blah 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 about this, but I would never watch.
You wouldn't gain a thing other than quality entertainment for an hour and a half. But
yeah, it was, and it's a short movie too. It's like 90 minutes long.
Great movie.
Short.
It's a great movie. The guy from Princess Bride is in it, I think. Isn't he the guy
you and Noodles always go back and forth. I have no idea the guy from Princess Bride.
Okay.
That's a great movie.
Pete DeBoer coming up. Overdrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Jamie, I do have to ask you.
Yeah.
You questioned my crazy comment about the Oilers addressing their goaltending again.
Yeah.
The reason I was asking that is because they let 5 goals in every game.
I know. And I don't disagree that they need to play better, but do you think that maybe that there might be something wrong systematically and the players in front of the defense as well? Like,
not perfect.
I watched Darnell Nurse and Jake Wallman. If you look at that pairing, it's been an absolute mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I would clean that up first. But I'm not. Oh, you're not wrong. The goaltending has to be better. But at some point, why does Stuart Skinner move on to a new organization and it looks better? Like, at some point, you got to look at like the whole team and how they play and how they defend. Like, there's more. That's where I would start. Like, their D aren't good enough, and their forwards, they need another forward. But at the end of the day, and if that doesn't work, then, like, we'll get into it in the 5 o'clock hour. I wasn't questioning you. I don't disagree with you, but they need to play better. But I've been, I watch a lot of hockey. Their D are, like, their defensive zone is a mess.
Well, it's amazing how much heat is on Knobloch out there. Like, there's a portion of the fans that are like, get rid of him, bring in somebody else.
You know why? Well, we'll talk about it at the 5 o'clock hour because there's slots there.
Okay, we'll get into it. And Peter DeBoer coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on TSN 4.
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan, Peter DeBoer coming up. Sure, Pete is dying to come on and talk about Craig Barube's comments from the other night, but he's been in that spot where he has been just not happy with anything and calling out his team. And, Pete famously has called out individual players. He's called out the team in general. But, Barube's postgame the other night was pretty telling. I mean, basically saying no heart, no brains, no anything, just going out there and playing. Wow. That's tough.
What did you make of it? I mean, you watched the game the other night. Ottawa played really well, but that's not. But the Leafs are better than, you know what I mean? Better than that type of effort, better than that type of determination. And you knew it was clockwork. You're going to come out and be stupid and try and show everybody, hey, I care in the third period. it was too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it was predictable. I was talking to somebody after second period. I said, "You watch. They're going to try and start a line brawl or do something and show everybody they care." It's a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah,
like the game.
That's
was done at
exactly
that
what it was. And Stolars was in there, and he wasn't happy. And listen, they had to react. I think it was wasn't Cousins that jabbed at him. I can't remember.
No,
who
it's
it was.
Ridley Gregg.
It was
so
Greg
you know
who
that,
did it. Yeah, there better have been a reaction, but you're right. It was completely meaningless at that point. But yeah, I mean, this is what we're going to get for the next 6 weeks. Is it the coach? Is it the players? Has he lost the room? Do you let the players off the hook? Because that always comes up. Like we just referenced what's going on in Edmonton, right? Where it doesn't mean they're going to move off Knobloch or they should move off him.
So another coach for those guys.
But that's the thing, though. In Edmonton, they have fired through a lot of coaches in the McDavid era. A lot of coaches.
Yep.
Like the Leafs Matthews has played for 3 coaches. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you look at a scenario and say we just need to change it or freshen it up or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what it's going to be by the end of the year.
You talk about freshening it up. If it goes, what is it, 21 or 22 left?
22.
If there's 22 and 17 are like what we just saw on Saturday night with the players' comments, the coaches' comments, that becomes a dreadful scenario, man.
For the coach, I would think. From a security standpoint, how do you
it's
possibly
almost like the
come
players
back?
get a hall pass where it's like, nothing to see here. You guys stunk. Nobody cares. Season's over. But the coach has got to answer those questions, and it's painful, man.
Well, do you guys think, like, the team played tentative the other night? Are they waiting for a shoe to drop? Are they waiting for a trade? Are they waiting for something? Like, they looked uninspired, and it happens. Like, I complained about it all year long. The product is not good some nights where teams look tired, teams look uninspired. After the Olympics, like, it's just been a weird, the hockey's been back to weird product again. I expect them to play better tonight in Philly. I really do. I expect them to, but what does that mean? Like, that's
I think those 2 games in Florida, it sunk in, like, that's it. Like that. They may have been able to build themselves up coming out of the break. 25 games left. They're 6 points out. You got to go on a heater. They were probably all doing the math themselves. And then they get beat up twice. They did not play well. They deserved to lose both. And I'm sure the flight home was like, all right, boys, that's it. Internally, not saying it obviously out loud, but internally. And that's what it looked like on Saturday. Like the game on Saturday almost looked like game 82. Like, I don't want to get hurt. Let me get out of here. My summer's coming up. And you mix that with the trade deadline, which I'm sure is leading to a lot of nervous energy and anxiety. Like guys know they're going to be traded or they could be traded. As for the Craig Barube situation, I don't know. I mean, it certainly didn't look like a team that was dying to play for their coach. I mean, that's just a reality. When you're playing like the way they played out of the chute, coming out of the Olympic break, it doesn't look great in terms of the connectivity between the players and the coach. But it's ultimately going to be up to the GM, I guess. Like moving off a coach right now, I don't know what that.
No sense.
You're not salvaging anything. Sense. Like in LA, they moved off Hiller because they can still make the playoffs. I don't know if they will, but it's obviously been troubling out there, and the Pacific is so bad. Like 92 points might get you in. 93 points could get you in. With the Leafs, it's over now. Like, with Barube, without Barube, Scotty Bowman in his prime, it doesn't make a difference. They're not making the playoffs.
Well, they're going to move away from players potentially this week, right, in seller mode or at least retool mode, don't you think? Again, that's not confirmed, but I just feel like, reading between the lines of what Pierre was intimating at is like, hey, there might be some moves you think that are weird, but that's more for the future, for next year type of stuff.
That I find curious. Like they're linked to Robert Thomas or something like that. And what is that what they need? Robert Thomas is a good player, but like we have all looked at it and said this defense core needs to be completely overturned.
Yeah, and I always
you're going to go get Robert Thomas?
Since I've been working at TSN, I started looking at trade. I wouldn't say differently, but sometimes I just take a step back and take a different angle, and I'm like, if the St. Louis Blues are like a young core what in the hell is the reason that they want to move off the player? And you got to do a deep dive because there's something there that he's not going to be a part of the fold. So what the hell is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it inconsistency? Is there some kind of do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, why is St. Louis moving off?
It's like
a young
Santander.
player?
He hit 44 home runs for the Baltimore Orioles, and they didn't want to retain his services. Tell me why, or do a deep dive into the why. Because anyone else that hits 44 dingers, the team can't wait to write a blank check and say, fill in the numbers. And we found out why they walked away from him, didn't we?
Yeah, I would say now we have a pretty good answer. Yeah, it's curious. It doesn't mean they're going to do it. It does, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there right now. But
what do you give up? Like, that's the other thing, Hayes. Like,
they have nothing to give up, Jamie.
You can be linked to a lot of players, but what are you giving up? Like, that's they need picks and prospects. They need, obviously the live roster needs to be shuffled a little bit, but they need picks and prospects where, I was talking to an AHL coach yesterday, and we were going through other teams. Like Montreal is in unbelievable shape. It's crazy how, they've done a really good job because Montreal has a very good NHL team, but you look at every position has a young player coming up as well.
That's right.
Like
goaltender, defense, everything.
Goaltender, defense, forwards. Like, so Montreal is not only set right now at the NHL level that they're going to add to, but they've got some prospects that can play in the NHL right now. They might be able to use them for currency to add to their
That's
their
exactly
NHL
right.
group.
Yeah, and that's again what is deflating for Leaf fans is that Montreal, knocked them out in 21 in very embarrassing fashion, and then said we got to completely reset, and now they've flown past them. And they're in a much better position for success today and over the next 3 to 5 years. Right. They got everyone locked up. They're younger. Their cap situation set. They got depth. They've got a management team that's got a plan, and they've stuck to it. The Leafs, I just get the impression, are just flying by the seat of their pants, man. They're just like, what are we going to do now?
It's the worst position to be in. You want to retool, reshuffle. You've got no picks, no prospects.
Yeah.
And a bunch of guys on the roster that ain't cutting it. That is death, dude.
It definitely can be. And if you're desperate, you're going to dig yourself even deeper. And that's another core element of all this. How much desperation is in the organization right now? How many guys are trying to just keep their jobs? We don't know the answer to it, but it could lead to some bigger mistakes. All right, Leafs Philly tonight. There's a bunch of games in the NHL. There's a game at 11 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
Detroit, Nashville at 11 a.m. for some reason.
It's crazy.
Here's a guy that has been around the NHL for a long time. He was over there in Italy, and he's back home now. Here's our good friend Peter DeBoer joining us on the Maple Toyota Hotline. How you doing, Pete?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty well. We're trying to settle into what's going on in the NHL right now. Have you settled back into North American lifestyle or what?
I have. I was 34 days on the road. Longest road trip I've ever been on in my life. Left, I think, January 26th or 7th for Milan, and got back home last night. So it's been a grind. I got a lot of dirty laundry, a lot of really good memories. And obviously didn't end the way we wanted it to, but pretty special event to be able to participate in.
Pete, before we dig into the hockey, did the coaching staff find a deal or a bargain on haircuts over there? It should have been like $30 for all you guys combined to get your haircut.
Talk brought his shears, so we all lined up at his door and took care. Actually, Coop's got a decent head of hair, and Butch has a decent head of hair, but Talk and I use the same barber.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, you got to be in style over in Milan, right? Like what? That's pretty high end stuff over there, Pete. You guys rocking the Lululemon every day, or did you mix it up?
You know what? It was awesome. I mean, it was my first Olympic experience. I was on the staff to go to Beijing. We didn't get to go because of COVID, and because I'm not working this year for the first time in decades, I actually got to go over a week early. I moved into the Olympic Village, lived a week in the village, walked in the opening ceremonies in the Lululemon outfit. I was near the back. I I didn't charge to the front. I let the athletes that are supposed to be seen get up front there, but I did get to walk in the back through the stadium with 80,000 people there. And you know what, it was just, it was an unbelievable life experience. You know, once the hockey tournament started, it became, you know, more of a hockey experience, but you know, there was some spectacular, you know, life experiences in there that I'll never forget.
Pete, I was talking to James Duthie, and he said he was so focused on the hockey, obviously because he was working so much, but it was rink, hotel. Like, did you actually get to go see some other events and experience stuff, or were you just doing meetings, hockey?
Yeah, you know what? Oh, that's a great question. It was a really spread out Olympics. I mean, the skiing was 3 hours on a train up into the mountains. In Milan, we had speed skating, figure skating, and hockey. I did get to see the short track speed skating, which is phenomenal to see live. TV really doesn't do it justice. It's roller derby on skates. Those guys are absolutely flying. Like, I was putting it, the one I saw was 9 laps around the rink, and I liken it to, you know, I can remember bag skating teams, you know, and you do 4 laps one way, and you remember, I mean, the lactic acid, your legs are straight after 4 laps. These guys at 9 laps aren't even sweating hard yet. It was incredible. But I did see some short track. I did get up. We had a day off. I did take the train up and saw the big air jump, the female one where the Canadian girl won on her last run, which was awesome. So, you know, I did get to see a couple other events.
So, Pete, we're talking about the hockey and the experience overall. You know, one thing I remember talking to, you know, teammates and friends recently about their Olympic experience was, did you feel the pressure? Did you feel like, you know, everyone was watching? Like, once you get into the games and that, was there another layer of pressure that you felt just because of what was at stake?
Yeah, I think being part of Team Canada in men's and women's hockey, I think that comes with the territory. And, you know, especially with the political environment and everything going on now, I think we all felt that weight and that responsibility. And, you know, what I would tell you is I thought our guys wore it as well as anybody could. I was really proud of our effort. I was really proud of the fact we played our best game of the tournament in the gold medal game when it mattered most. You know, a little bit of karma in the Four Nations final. I think the U.S. was without Quinn Hughes. You know, they had some injury issues, the key guys. You know, this time around, you know, we lost Morrissey in game 1 and Sid obviously in the quarterfinal. So, you know, I think the injuries probably went against us this time around. But and credit to the U.S. for finding a way to win. But I was really proud of our group's effort when it mattered most.
Pete, a lot of Canadian hockey fans, they were loving the 3-on-3 after Mitchie scored against Czechs. And then when you guys lost 3-on-3, they thought 3-on-3 in overtime was stupid. So where does the coach stand on it?
You know what, I hate elimination games at anything less than 5-on-5. You know, I can live with a power play in overtime, you know, that's warranted, you know, where someone wins, you know, because the other team took a penalty. But, you know, I have a hard time with it. I think that's the beauty of the NHL playoffs, that, yes, we could play all night. And some of the most epic games in the history of the NHL playoffs have been those double, triple, quadruple overtime games. But so it sounds like sour grapes now, and you're absolutely right. We were on the right end of it earlier in the tournament, but you know, I'm a more of a NHL playoff traditionalist that you know, I think hockey should end the way it starts, which is 5-on-5.
Well, I think the one thing they have to do is, if they want to, I don't think they're going to look at any change, but you got to have the gold medal game on Saturday, because they were wanting that thing done because of the closing ceremonies right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you want to do it normal, do the game on Saturday, and you're not worrying about it.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. That's the exact reason they wanted a firm ending to it. And I don't believe they're going to make a change from everything I've read. And, that's fine. I think as Team Canada, I believe that the next Team Canada can play any way you want to play, and we'll be prepared for that. But, it would have been nice to have that game continue 5-on-5, because I really felt we had tilted the ice for the majority of that game.
With Pete DeBoer here on OverDrive. So prior to having you on, we were talking about coaches, speaking with the media after after tough games or bad games. And I know you've had your experience in that field many times, Pete. Can you take us through the process of getting off the bench, knowing I'm going to face the media in 7 or 8 minutes?
Does a PR guy get to you?
Yeah. What
do you
happens?
care about that?
Yeah. Take us through the whole process. Your head's ready to explode. Something happened. Your team played terribly, whatever it was, and you know what's coming.
Yeah.
The media's waiting for you, and they've got some daggers out. What's that 7, 8, 10-minute process like for a coach?
Yeah. Well, it's not easy, and I'm speaking firsthand of that, and someone who's obviously, hasn't handled every one of those situations exactly the way you'd like to. I can tell you, from what I've heard, I haven't been involved with teams like this, but there are teams out there. I think the city you're living in might be one where the coach actually gets some talking points prior to going out in front of the media, whether they're analytics based or, messaging based. I haven't worked in that type of environment. I'm not sure I'd want to. I think the genuine message, I think, is always more important. Having said that, I think you always have to check your emotions too. But it's not easy, because a lot of those nights you're walking into situations where guys are trying to lead you or get you to say things that either are taken out of context, or you're trying to be honest, and they're going to use it against you. And that's just the reality of the sensationalism of today's media. So there's a lot of traps there, and it's not easy to navigate when you're walking off a bench and you've got the emotions of having just lost, or your season just ended, within minutes before. So, it's one of the toughest parts of the job.
Pete, in this market, people chitter-chatter and about everything, and Hazy B here complains about everything, the players, the coaches. Can you just, in your own thoughts and words, as a coach, if there's 3 basic principles that you think the head coach in the National Hockey League is kind of responsible for, what would you say those would be? Do you think, defensive responsibilities is, the coach, or is it just you got to deliver the message and the players ultimately are the ones that got to do it?
Yeah. I mean, the short answer to that, is winning. That's what we all get judged on, and nothing else really matters but that. I can tell you, I think as a coach, having done this for a long time, the places you can probably have the most influence on your team is on how you defend. And special teams, I think, are probably some of the areas that, immediately come to mind. But, the offensive part of the game, it's hard. I mean, you can input and have some ideas on how you want to play, and whether you want to be a possession team and try and grind teams and tilt the ice and make them, and shortchange them. But in order to stick the puck actually in the net, a lot of times that comes down to, the skill of the players and the shooters that you have, and do you have some of those guys? I think some of those other areas I mentioned, you might have a little bit more coaching control over.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Wanted to ask you about Celebrini. Like, you saw him up close and personal. Is this kid like the real deal,
Wow.
potentially generational?
Wow.
Like, what's your thoughts on him?
Just wow. I mean, first off, relentless work ethic, dog on a bone. I mean, puck gets dumped down the ice where 90% of the guys in the league would just take a couple strides and set up in a controlled forecheck. This kid just absolutely gets on his horse and humps it down the ice on every loose puck, puts as much pressure on the puck as possible everywhere on the ice, all shift. Amazing engine and motor and relentless drive. I mean, some of the turnovers and stuff he created just with that engine and that work ethic, I thought was incredible. And then he's way stronger, on the puck, on his feet in battles than people give him credit for. To think he's born in 2006 and had the impact he had, and playing with McDavid on a line, and the respect he garnered within our room from those guys, as a. I always say this again because it's hard to believe when you say he's born in 2006 and he's playing in that situation at the Olympics with the best players in the world. Just an incredible player and an even better kid. Humble, coachable. Can't say enough about him. I mean, he's a future Canadian hockey.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He's been great all year. I mean, that San Jose team and the way they're moving and the direction they're going in with him at the wheel is pretty promising. Very, very promising.
It's funny. I got a quick story on him. I was Doug Armstrong let me sit in the management meetings for the selection. So we had a bunch of meetings and he really, in the summer, he was on the radar, but he was kind of, on the long list as far as being on the team after coming off of last season. And then we got about, a month, 6 weeks into the season, and we had our first management meeting, and all of a sudden guys are starting to talk about him. Hey, this kid's really playing well. So I called Jumbo, who I'd coached in San Jose for 5 years, and said, Jumbo, tell me about this kid. Is he really ready for the Olympics? And Jumbo said, Pete, not only is he ready for the Olympics, he goes, he's been the best player in the league the first month of the season. And I kind of, I hadn't really seen him a lot up to that point, but that really grabbed my attention. I started to watch him, and Jumbo was right. Like, he wasn't just playing really well. He's been one of the best players in the entire league all season. So, pretty incredible.
No kidding, man. From a long list to a short list to top 6 minutes to playing I think he played 25 minutes in the Czechia game. It's incredible how good he is. Incredible. Well, it's always great catching up with you, Pete. We appreciate the insight and you doing it as always, and we'll do it again down the road.
You too, guys. Take care.
There he is, Pete DeBoer, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Red Tag Days are here with the all-electric Toyota BZ. Goes from 0 to 100 in just 5.1 seconds and charges from 10 to 80% in just 30 minutes. Dropped by Maple Toyota today.
I wonder what his position must be right now, because some GM is dying to fire his coach for Pete to come in. Sure. But would Pete even want to do it?
Well, I mean, Hiller, DJ Smith got promoted in L.A.
You would have to think that Kenny Holland probably contacted Pete. Would he have not?
I would be shocked, guys, if he hasn't had a few phone calls of GMs that are preemptive, looking at, the rest of this season into next season. Sometimes you hire a coach down the stretch for them to get a good feel of what's in the organization. Mm-hmm. You play with house money, right? But Pete's in a unique situation because he's still getting paid, so he can choose where he wants to go and what situation. I don't think he wants to go to a rebuild. He wants to go to a
God,
team
no.
Yeah, you go where maybe he thinks he can get a team over the hump or close to it, or a very competitive team. But that's I think he's the next man up. Like, if you look at it, he's a top tier coach, and I think he's awesome. Like, I'm a big fan. So
he's had a ton of success in his career.
Yeah.
And, it's an interesting story about Celebrini. And
that's why I wanted to ask about him,
Well, we didn't, maybe I should have asked him this, but I'm curious where Schaefer was on the list because this kid is coming out of the chute, like coming out of the Olympics. He's probably been the best player in the league. I know it's only been like 4 or 5 days.
The
but
Schaefer question is coming a lot more now because they lost. Where it was like,
oh yeah, I'm not saying
no,
they win
I
a goal
know,
because
but
of
people
Schaefer.
are like coming up to me at the gym. Why the hell wasn't Schaefer on the team? It's like they dominated the last game. Don't talk to me about Schaefer now.
I think yes, I hear you, but I think what the connection is, he's the defensive version of Celebrini.
Yes,
like as good as
one.
like as good as Celebrini is, and he's phenomenal, and he's completely changed everything in San Jose. That is what Schaefer's doing. Like he's up to 20 goals. He's 18 years old. He plays defense. Like it is,
that is guy's
you know
Bobby
how
Orr,
crazy
man.
that is. He's outscoring Bobby Orr at that age. Like
If
it
he
is
scores 3
absurd.
more goals, he ties Brian Leach for the rookie record in goals, and you know he's going to rip home 10 more, maybe.
He might, the way things are playing out.
He's so good.
So
He's
good.
So good.
He skates on a cloud out there. Like it's incredible to watch him skate.
They had on the broadcast last night how many bursts he's. Have you seen that NHL Edge, the speed bursts? He's got as many as McDavid. He's got 29 at the highest bursts in the league. It's crazy how fast
amazing.
he's been. You know, he's such a great skater. Look at that.
And this is a guy, we were talking to someone about this last week. He barely played in junior last year because he got
17
injured.
games.
I watched him play a
17
half a
games.
period in World Juniors, and he blew his shoulder out, and he never played. And I'm like, I tried making an assessment after 1 or 2 periods. I was like, he kind of looked good. In the pre-tournament games, he's got good speed, but it's like, I didn't see this, man.
I was surprised he was going first overall. Like, because of the injury and because he didn't, he didn't play.
Yeah. Well, dude, imagine not taking him, and you're going to...
Obviously, it was a brilliant move by the Islanders. And by the draft, it had become a lock. He was going first overall. Like, it was kind of understood whoever had that pick was taking him. But it was, remember, Morgan Riley's draft year, he blew out his ACL, I think, had barely played. And the Leafs took him 5th overall.
Dream scenario for Matthew Darche. Like, imagine taking over an organization, and you're getting a first overall pick, and you're not getting a guy like Lafreniere, and I'm not dumping on Lafreniere, but you're getting an organizational, generational talent to start off your tenure. Makes things a lot more like smooth in
Changes
transition.
everything.
Everything,
Changes
dude.
everything. A number one defenseman.
Dude.
Sorokin's been great.
Tickets, fan base, like the power play, all of it is like tied into this one athlete. It's incredible.
You think the Islanders should make some noise at the deadline? Like, that's a team.
Dude, if that goalie
heading in the
can
right
make
direction.
some stops, why not the Islanders?
Well, it's Islanders Pitt in the first round. Both teams, no one saw this coming. The two of them making it.
I still think Tampa's the best team in the East, and I think Carolina's number 2. That's my depth chart, and I think number 3 is a coin toss. You got a bunch of teams that are pretty good, and every team's got its warts. But out East, for me, that could be wide open. Like Carolina, it'd be interesting to see if they make some noise here this week and add a significant player. Same thing. Like, the Islanders believe they can win a couple rounds. So what? I don't know. I say it all the time. I don't know if all hell's going to break loose.
Listen, someone's getting through. Like, if it's
You're
Pitt
right.
and the Islanders, no one saw making the playoffs is in the second round. If it's Montreal and Detroit in the first round, someone's getting into the second round that no one would have predicted.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
Buffalo might finish in the top seed. Like, they may push Tampa down. They're right on their heels.
Crazy.
Dude, has anyone else thought that Buffalo might make some noise? They're
I
piss
hope
pumping
so.
teams.
Buffalo's 4 points back at Tampa. And so is Detroit. Montreal's right there, too.
They're
I
skunking
hope
teams
so.
every night, 5-1, dude.
On the
But
road.
I hope so. I would love to see it. It's such a, as you always say, the great people of Buffalo deserve it.
They do.
14 years. And, Hayes, you've been waiting for this year for Buffalo.
Always been a
and-
fan.
But Jamie, I don't know
Always
if you
been a
agree.
fan.
You're always waiting for like a couple scores in the app or whatever where you're like, is Buffalo for real?
Yeah.
You go down
Yeah.
to Florida and pump them, and then the next night you pump Tampa. It's like, maybe you are for real, man.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of magic happening in the league, man. Like Anders Lee scoring with 30 seconds or whatever yesterday was wild.
I read something that Florida has given up 5 games in the last minute of play this year.
Yeah, Bob
That's just,
is looking old
year.
in there.
It's
too.
not their year.
It's not
you
their
know
year.
what I mean?
It's
Like
not their
it sucks for them, and I feel bad for them. But
I don't know. Why feel bad for them? They won 2 cups and went to 3 cup finals.
Fair enough,
I don't
Brian.
feel
You know
anything.
what I mean.
I
just don't. I don't like to see, guys that are just having an off year, like Markov hurt and all of that type of stuff. Like, at the end of the day, right, they've got decisions to make with goalie Bob because he's not getting
a young guy, and he's a UFA. Yep, big time. All right, best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, best bets later in the hour. Saw some video of Max Scherzer out there down in Dunedin throwing a bullpen session. Looking good, man. Looking very sharp. Yeah, I mean, and what is slowly starting to kind of trickle out here is, why they have so many starting pitchers is because they're not sure who they can trust.
Exactly. They have no idea where Bieber's at.
Bieber is not going to start the year, and they don't know when he's going to be ready. Barrios, I saw
Could be throwing dirt balls again.
Exactly. Like, there's a chance they can't trust Barrios. They want to trust Barrios. They're paying him to be trusted, but there is a chance if he's pitching like he did in the second half last year, they don't feel like they can pitch him.
And just a side note, his second half was not just kind of, it was awful.
Unplayable. Yes, got to the point where they said you cannot be a part of the process, and you Savage, they're going to put an innings limit on him, and they're taking it easy with him in terms of building him up. So
they're giving him the Steven Strasburg scenario where it's like, we don't care how good you are, this is what you're doing.
That is effectively what we're looking at. Now, what the innings are going to be, how much he's going to pitch.
Dude, I kind of respect that.
Yeah, and I don't think like with previous, situations like Strasburg, it was like we're shutting him down. That's not what they're going to do. I think they're going to take it easy early so he's available later. But like with Strasburg, they were not a very good team. Although I think when they were deciding to shut him down, they were kind of in contention in Washington. I don't remember all the details.
They gave him an innings limit, and as soon as he reached it, they said, you're
finite. They're like, you're done. You're not pitching anymore. So you have Gosman you can trust, Cease you can trust. You're bringing in Cody Ponce, who they like, but who knows? These guys pitched in Korea last year.
Right.
So when the dust settles, you're like, all right, now I kind of see where they're going here with bringing as many arms as you can and try to patch it together as long as you can.
But you know how that goes sometimes. It's just like the Mitch Marner situation, how it was described in Toronto. This is how it was described. We got more deck chairs now, and there's going to be more people, and we hope it's like a positive influence.
More balanced, yeah.
I want legit stuff. I don't want a bunch of deck chairs where it's like, I hope a bunch of different guys can contribute, because you know what you get? A bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
So I like the stud factor. It's like, to say you got a bunch of options, sometimes it doesn't mean squat, man.
Well, somebody's going to push through, don't you think? Like,
Bieber being healthy is significant. Now that
Savage,
for sure. Scherzer, you got to be realistic. He's not giving you 30 starts or something.
As far as Savage, did they mention what it might look like or what the approach is going to be? Or
no, I think it's they're being somewhat not coy with it, but they're taking it easy with building him up. Like they're not sure he's going to be stretched out completely by opening day. So take that for what it's worth. I would guess after the playoffs, they probably said, shut it down, take it easy. We're going to build you back up. Young arms, like he pitched a lot last year. And like you look at Ricky Tiedemann, who's a guy that's a high up, he's had reconstructive surgery. He's already banged up a little bit. Like young guys, they just treat differently. And I think they're wise to do that. But if you have World Series aspirations, which they do, you need to make sure he's ready to peak in October. Now you got to get there first, but that factors into where Schneider and Walker and the whole staff is going to have to map this season out. But we're into March now. Like the season begins in a few weeks.
It's coming. But where are they ranked? Just from the outside. Not where we rank, but where what are talking heads and that's thinking the Blue Jays are as a team this year?
Very high expectations. You go to the World Series, that better be the expectation. I know Bichette's gone and Santander's hurt and Bassett left and IKF isn't here anymore, but they didn't sit on their hands. They made moves in the offseason. I think their staff is better, regardless of what we just talked about. So I think the expectation is, you're chasing the American League East. Like, you should be thinking you can win the AL East. Not going to be easy to do. You play in a tough division. It's tough, but they're expected to be a very competitive team. Anything less than that would be a massive disappointment. Baltimore's better. The Yankees are always going to be kicking tires. The Sox are going to be pretty good. It's not going to be easy, but 90-plus wins. I'm curious where FanDuel actually look that up, Doogie, like what their win total is. I don't know what it would be. I would guess 89.5, something like that.
Can't get a 90?
I'll give this.
Well, I mean, you're always careful if you're the books, though, is what I'm saying. Like I'm talking FanDuel. It doesn't mean they can't or they won't.
I'll give the Sox and the Yankees credit. It seems like in the last 25 years, they don't spend too much time in the ditch. If they do for a season or a season and a half, they can generally pull themselves out of it. Even if they say, we're not spending now, much like the Red Sox, where it was like the Red Sox don't seem like they're just tossing around cake like they used to.
No. I mean, they made the playoffs last
Yankees
year, even
too.
with that. Yeah, the Yankees, both of them have completely shifted. Like the Dodgers have taken over as the team that spends, and the Mets, I would say, are number 2 on that list. The Yankees and the Red Sox have come back to earth a little bit. They still spend at a crazy clip.
But when's the last
especially
time the Red Sox or the Yankees were like the Chicago White Sox or the Colorado Rockies? It's like to just be garbage terrible where you're so irrelevant.
The Yankees never are.
No.
They never, ever are. The Red Sox have taken a bit of a dip here, but they've also won a lot in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The last
3 World Series.
Yeah, and they've been to multiple World Series. They're a competitive team. The Yankees are going to be competitive. And the Jays understand that. They're in one. Like Jason Stark wrote an article in The Athletic, came out late last week, and he was quoting, or he was talking to Shapiro, and Shapiro kept talking about the American League East, and it's a tough division, and you got to get through that. So they're not putting the cart before the horse. They're not punching a ticket to the World Series prematurely. They understand it's going to be a grind. And what we've learned over the last 2 years with baseball, but this applies to every league, is it's impossible to predict and know exactly what's coming. Like on one end of the spectrum, you probably can with the Dodgers. On the other end of the spectrum, you probably can with the Rockies. But the Jays went from 74 wins to 94 wins. If they won 83 games this year, would I be shocked? No. Would I be disappointed? Of course. But would I be shocked? No. I mean, I think that's the lesson here is every year is a blank slate. You got to go out and earn it.
Yeah, and
things have to break your way.
They had some career years too, right? Like Barger come up and like that,
Ernie Clement and
it just. But that's where you got to find either they don't have to have career years, but they've got to be good. They can't have a massive drop off, and then other players that you brought in have to, pick up that slack type of thing.
That's right. Things change, man. This time last year they were breaking camp, and the protection for Vladdy in the lineup was going to be Santander and Bichette. Neither guy is available this year. Bichette's in New York, Santander's on the IL and not playing. So things change.
That Santander injury, not getting surgery right after the season, it kind of still drives me nuts. It's like, what the hell were you thinking? Unless some doctor said, let's try to rehab this thing and we'll do work all winter.
And then
I can't figure it out. It always drove me nuts when a guy shows up to training camp to have surgery. It's like, you just pissed away 6 months doing what?
Yeah. Well, and it's not like you were playing. Like, he was injured the whole year.
Yeah.
And then
remember he came back, and then in the World Series, it was like he was supposed to come back.
And they
I think
had to
he
pull
was
him off the
I think
roster.
Schneider put him in a lineup, and then it was like, not going tonight, shut down for the World Series. It's just like.
Yeah, he was on the roster, and they pulled him out of it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So FanDuel's got the win total for the Jays at 88.5.
That's fair.
88.5, which is a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of respect. Okay. Come back with our best bets. Put a bow on Shane Lowry yesterday. Like, who had a more difficult weekend? Shane Lowry,
Leafs fans?
the Leaf fans. Anyone else out there that had a tough weekend? I don't know. Seems like those are the two that really kind of resonate
more.
right now.
There's
Oilers
more,
goalie pads?
The Oilers really struggled again over the weekend. Leon Draisaitl, every post-game interview is the exact same. He's just so disheveled and angry.
Like Noodles talked about earlier, like they might need a coming to Jesus meeting. And I do get it. I don't like a lot of their depth pieces they've added. But it's got to be like, guys, if we're going to have any chance to kind of do what we've been doing the last couple of years, we got to change the way we're thinking and playing out there. It's everybody. Like, it's got to be included, McJesus and Draisaitl. They're not allowed. It's that time of year where you're not allowed to go out there and do whatever you want, and everybody else has got to play a system. Like, they got to figure it out.
They can score, but they can't defend. And that's the thing that has been – it's been consistent. And, you know, when you knuckle down, then you can figure it out. But, I mean, man, oh, man, some of the chances they give up are brain dead.
Crazy stuff.
And you're right. Like, the goalie can mask it. But at the end of the day, if they're not masking it, it's like, okay, well, don't give up that chance. I could talk about this all day.
I hear you,
watch
man.
games, man. Like, I just – it's some teams just don't give it up. Like, I'll give you an example. Ottawa in their last 8 games have given up like 20 shots or less.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give you much, right? So, like, the goalie needs to make some saves, and if he does, you win games. If he doesn't, you don't. Like, the system's pretty tight. Like, they were so good in the neutral zone against the Leafs the Leafs couldn't get anything going in the neutral zone.
They just turned puck over after
turn puck over.
It was crazy.
Like, that team was tight.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at other teams, it's like, hey, let's just try this. Let's see if this works. And you're like, that is not winning hockey, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, I'm not going to ask Schneider for baseball stuff. I'm going to ask the public for a golf favor.
Oh,
okay, Here we go. We're seeking the public's help. This will be serious stuff. I'm curious where this is going to go. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on YouTube Live.
I'll be turning the tables on you in March because last summer you went to Cabot with our good friend Donnie Nichols.
Yeah.
And you didn't invite me, which I was... You, that's true.
Okay, for starters, it wasn't me. It wasn't my setup. But
I know, but you could have said, hey, O-Dog would have been kind of interested in this.
Okay.
And then you came back and you were like, yeah, Cabot's sick. And I looked at you and I said, I thought we were doing Cabot together, but apparently... But I'm going to turn the tables in March, and I'm going to go to Cabot Citrus without you, and I can't wait. There's a dude there, MJ, the real MJ, not Mike Johnson for TSN.
Right.
The guy's a legend, and Cabot Citrus is sick.
I've heard it's incredible.
But the public help I need, if there's any Torontonians or Canadians that is a member at Old Memorial in Tampa, get in touch with me and let's talk business.
Old Memorial. Okay.
Yeah. John Cooper doesn't answer my calls anymore, so I got to reach out to the public.
That's disappointing.
I don't want to. Obviously, I'll pay my own way. My buddy will pay his own way, and I'll take you to a Leaf game.
Okay.
Whatever you need.
I might have a connection for you down there in the Tampa area. I'll connect you with a guy that's got connections.
Really?
Dude, I know you're not being serious.
You're
going to call, and it's going to be some pet store.
I am being serious. I might be able to help you out in the greater Tampa area. It's possible. I can't guarantee you.
It's not even a sports city.
I'm not even going to call the number. Like, I know you're.
I'll look into it for you.
What?
I will look into this for you.
Do you remember 2 years ago, Hayes said Tampa wasn't even a sports city or something?
It's not. It's the whole state.
Dude, that was one of his worst takes ever. Then they won 2 cups in a row, and then remember, Jamie, he goes, they still are not a sports town.
I have no time for them. I have no time for the whole state.
Devil Rays or the baseball team makes the playoffs.
The Bucks won the Super Bowl, which was a sham. Everything about it. Tampa. Yeah, it's a sham, man. And
who do you know in Tampa that would possibly be?
I'm not going to publicly name anything. I'm just telling you, I might have some insight on what's going on.
I know you're going to give me a number, and it's going to be for a pet store that sells snakes.
It's not. I can't guarantee you anything, but there's a chance I could kick tires. Now I don't know about that course you just mentioned. I've never heard of that place.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to call Darcy Tucker because Tux played there.
Tux actually is a guy that
played there.
Has a connection
Dude,
down there.
If you do that, I'll never speak because I could easily although
Tux
you guys
isn't
are best friends now. Sorry.
No, I'm not saying he's not the guy that would. He knows the guy. There's a connection here.
See, there's Darcy
Tux
Tucker.
is like 1 degree away from this. There's a chance you show up and you get booted because Tux sneaks in there.
Dude, there
I
is
love
0% chance you are any help in this matter, and I know I'll have to do this on my own.
All right. We'll see, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I might be able to help you out. I can't guarantee it, but I might be able to help you
Yeah,
out.
you'll probably, because you pigs around here, you reap the benefits of my, now you're getting some Jays hats, and you're like, you're so embarrassing asking for, now you guys are reaping the benefits.
Well, how about that? Look at us. Everyone reaping the benefits
Yes.
of you over asking for stuff, this included. But I'll see if I can help out.
I was concerned about the sizing of some of those hats.
I
There
know.
was some
Massive.
Dude, my
measurement.
hat size is a 7 and 5/8. That's a normal hat size.
That's an XL, I believe.
That's a larger one.
That's a
I
large
believe.
stone piece.
Yeah.
You
I
can get
wasn't
into the eights, though. There's some people with huge heads, like eight and
I
a
want to
quarter.
hear of
Dude,
like
send in some pics. There's got to be a pic, though, of the actual number. If you're an 8 and a
Eight
half,
and a quarter,
you are a crap-like monster.
Yeah, there's no way you were born on this planet if you have an 8.5 squash.
yeah.
Like, that is a different planet.
Dude, what does it go up to? Is there like a 10 spot? Is there a hat?
there
Like,
can't be. There can't be, unless we're talking like deformities or something.
Yeah, there's
Like the elephant man. or
can you
something.
imagine somebody wrote back at the office? Anybody, give me your hat size. I'm putting in an order. 10, 2.5.
10 and 3/8. All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm on the under in this Leaf game. I just think, unfortunately, it's going to be a dreadful, awful hockey game, and it'll be 3-1, probably Philly, and it'll just not be good. That's my concern, but that's for betting purposes. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays around the NHL are available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. All right, thanks to everyone behind the scenes today for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today, TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
All you 10 and 3/8, go get checked out. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.